How's it going, guys and girls? This is Ketchup and Mustard here once again, bringing you our predictions for Week 3 of the EU ESL MKX Pro League. We can see we've got our top 8 decided. The guys and girls played through all of it on Sunday. We now have our top 8. Now, the reason I'm excited for this particularly is we have a lot of awesome returning faces. I don't have to remind you guys how good Week 2 was. We had amazing sets between Foxy, Madzin, Zarakamaka, Derpy, Undead Jim. We had all these really good players coming for a really solid and a really impressive Week 2. But moving into Week 3, many of these guys are back again for the next week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have, as you can see in Game 1, we're pretty much going to go straight into it. We've got people from Season 1 coming back, which is one of the main things, I guess, of Week 3. So Game 1, we're going to have Foxy Grandpa versus Nivek. Nivek has finally come back. I believe Nivek, unfortunately, I don't think he was able to do Week 2 because he's working really long hours, and I think he overslept on Week 2.
Bodied, man.
He was really
absolutely bodied.
I'm fairly certain he was like, oops, what happened there? But obviously Nivek coming back into Week 3, getting top 8, and as you can see, he took out, let's look at his path, and he had to take out Blitzgurst.
Spooky from Season 1.
Yeah, I do remember Spooky and Bloody Duck. I don't remember a couple of these names, but I'm sure they must have been, it was decent there for Nivek. Obviously, Blitz had to get past Deakins, who was a UK Sub-Zero player. But Nivek has made it into top 8, and he's going to be fighting Foxy. A lot of people pretty much expect Foxy to always get top 8. I don't really think unless it's going to be the upset of the century, I just don't think Foxy's not going to be in top 8, every week because of how consistent he seems to be.
Well, he had to beat Krathen and JTB.
Yeah, and Nindo as well, So this was good. This was definitely good for Foxy, because bear in mind, JTB, the podcast guy from the UK, plays Scorpion. JTB's a really good Scorpion player. Krathen, he was a really good Aaron Black. He plays a bit of Kano now as well. I'm not sure if they're still the characters that he plays, but it's a respectable path for both players. And then what I'm excited about here is the fact that Foxy and Nivek always give a good show. I mean, we've seen Foxy 3 or Nivek before, but it was only ever online.
But then we obviously saw Nivek, Fans' Choice, beat Foxy 6 games.
Yeah, we saw, and not only the Fans' Choice, but they gave us arguably an even better set at the Season 1 finals.
And not to mention, Nivek beat Foxy at EGP. Let's not forget that as well.
Yeah, Nivek did beat Foxy at EGP. He did beat him there. Really good stuff.
Well, I'm expecting a close set for them. My gut instinct is telling me that I think Foxy's going to take it purely on the fact that Raiden has been heavily nerfed.
It's Kung Lao and Raiden.
Yeah,
Kung Lao can down 4 Raiden all day.
But at the same time, Nivek still plays Thunder God. Thunder God still has a Vortex, still has a corner carry. Kung Lao cornering Raiden is scary because obviously it's like the Sorcerer matchup, I suppose. All he's got to do is flip it round and bam, he can instantly start winning.
Well, yeah, any character with strong corner pressure has that edge. Even if Tempest rocks them in the corner, if you manage to get that one hit that puts Tempest in the corner, you can do the exact same thing. It's pretty much like you said, the Sorcerer Tempest matchup where it seems impossible, the second you get hit, but all you got to do is put him in the corner.
Well, something that Foxy's been practicing recently is ducking highs in pressure and then whiff punishing with standing strings. Like, on prediction of a throw, he's not going to break the throw, he just neutral crouches and makes it whiff. Now, if he does that against Raiden, who's got loads of highs, then that could be really dangerous for Nivek. So if he doesn't scout that out, he's going to be in trouble. But I think he could still win the set, but I am sort of, leaning towards Foxy for Game 1.
Yeah, of course. So that's going to be Game 1. I to be honest, I agree. Obviously, not to negatively talk about Nivek, he's a fantastic player. It's just going to be Kung Lao Raiden, which I don't think is a particularly fun matchup in the neutral, which Foxy's really dominant at in the neutral game. So that's going to be Game 1. Game 2, Undead Jim and Mitsuones. So Mitsuones has come back from... He was one of the more dominant players, the second highest seeded player, I believe, in EU. For Season 1.
Well, it was,
he won the 2 tournaments Foxy didn't enter, didn't he?
Yeah, he won 2 weeks in Season 1 for ESL and MKX for EU, which was really good for him. But this is the first time he's come back. I believe he had a really undeniably rough start to Season 2. He went out in round 1 in Week 1, out in round 2, I believe, in Week 2.
Or it might have been the other way around, but either way, it wasn't very far.
Either way, I'm pretty sure it was the same way. So, Mitsuones, he wasn't happy with his performance. He said many times, oh man, I think I've lost it. I think I've lost my touch. That sort of stuff. But here he is in Week 3 coming back into top 8. And
let's look at his path.
I was about to say, to be fair to him, he did have to take out some good players to get it.
Storm.
Used for glue.
He took out Storm and used for glue. I mean, that's definitely respectable. Storm, one of the highest placing. He's one of the highest places again in EU, really.
Poor old used for glue getting a match away from top 8 2 weeks running. Do you reckon Week 4 we're finally going to see him make the actual top 8?
I would hope to see him.
I really hope we see that.
He's Definitely good enough.
But Mitsuones has got to fight under Jim, who, again, you guys can see, didn't have an easy path. He had to beat Swift, Pro Stunner, Mad Props, who we saw from Season 1. And Jim, we said this last week, that Jim is a phenomenal player, and he has a really strong library of characters that he plays. As far as I'm aware, he qualified for top 8 this week with all Bone Shaper Shinnok, he told me.
Okay.
But he's not sure what character he's going to use on Wednesday. Obviously, he knows he's got to prepare for the Scorpion matchup, so I don't know what character he said he was going to use for that. But this guy plays Tremor with basically all variations, Jax with basically all variations, and Bone Shaper. So I'm sure one of those will do the job.
Yeah, but if we look at the path, Jim took out Mad Props, he took out Swift, and that Pro Stunner. I mean, again, he had a respectable path. That Pro Stunner, unfortunately, just keeps doing well. But I find that currently
he's got the Youth of Glue syndrome. Just can't quite get top 8.
I feel like Stunner kind of currently has that syndrome of not being able to quite make it yet. I think he's getting there. He is getting there.
Pro Stunner had to beat RZA and Good Dragon.
Of course, and that's what I'm saying. Like they do well. These guys are doing well, but they're just not getting that final game. To get into top 8.
But that's just how it goes. Especially for the EU side, Season 2, the competition is triple the difficulty it was in Season 1. In my opinion, I think Season 2 is by far significantly more difficult.
There's no denying that the quality of play in Season 2 is higher. That, absolutely not. But so under Jim and Mitsuones, personally, I really think under Jim can take this. The way Mitsuones plays and the way under Jim plays, Jim punishes really hard. I find when he gets the punish. Wall. Yeah, so he can be really hard to open up. He looks for pokes and then punishes you for them. He baits really well. Mitsuones has a very explosive style, and he always has, of full screen minions, sometimes point blank low minions without anything else. He isn't afraid to play recklessly, but under Jim does a really good job of punishing reckless play because he just constantly looks for stuff. He lets you hang yourself in a lot of ways.
Well, for me, I think if they're both playing at their best, again, I'm going to lean towards under Jim. And just a quick disclaimer, guys. We're not being biased towards the UK guys. This is just our honest opinions based on players we've seen. Doesn't matter where they're from. We think who they play, how they play, and how it goes. And also who their training partners are. And we know that Undead Jim trains with JTB quite often. Yeah. JTB plays a very good Scorpion in all variations. I know JTB plays... I know he's got a favourite, but he plays all of them. And at the same time, I really don't know how familiar Mitsuones is going to be with a Jax of Jim's level... a Tremor of Jim's level. I mean,
I've never seen Mitsuones really fight Tremor.
I wouldn't like to see Jim go Bone Shaper here purely because Hell Sparks do not work. Straight Projectile and Hell Sparks can both be punished easily on reaction by any teleport, and that's going to get Mitsuones going.
Yeah, definitely.
It shuts down what you pick Bone Shaper for. All you've got is a restand in which you can't guarantee anything.
So I think we're going to go under Jim over Mitsuones, but it depends on the character Jim picks against Mitsuones and how familiar he'll be with those matchups.
And it depends on how tilt Jim goes, because once it starts going downhill, we know Jim can get a bit flustered, can get a bit frustrated. If he keeps a level head, he'll be fine. We know that does not affect Mitsuones. That's one strength he's always had.
He's never afraid to go ham.
It doesn't matter the life deficit or how dire it looks. Mitsuones plays his way at all times, and it never gets to him. And that's a really good strength to have, and something that Jim can definitely let it get to him in bad times. But if he can keep a level head, my vote's going to under Jim.
Okay, so Game 3, Madsen and Taco. This is Season 1 through and through, I think.
Is this going to be a Sub-Zero match? Because I don't know what the Sub-Zero match is going to be. Because I'm assuming we're going to see Taco big. I don't think we're going to see Taco try Kung Lao against Madsen purely on the fact that if it doesn't work for Foxy, it's not going to work for any other Lao.
Yeah. So, basically... we can see, let's look at the path again. Madsen took out a Query, Block Monster, and Madsen beat Mosquito. He actually beat Deppy Mosquito to get top 8. So, good stuff from him. We saw Mosquito do put in a really good show with Tanya last week. But here we are. So, Madsen, Query, unfortunately, didn't make it very far because he had to fight Madsen. But that was a good path for Madsen. And then Taco, look at his path. He had to take out Lucky, D-Jack, and Bubba Grimes. Nice. That was a really good path.
Again, Bubba Grimes just...
poor guy.
Just can't make it, man. He's a phenomenal player, but he just always gets so close.
But he always loses to someone good. It's always the way. He always gets far, but then loses to someone good. But no shame in that. No shame in that. But Madsen and Taco, not much to say. Madsen has a better track record against Taco than Taco has on him, I find, at this point. Madsen has beat Taco in Tournament more. They had a money match, an exhibition money match, which Madsen also won. I just really think that currently Madsen doesn't have Taco's number. There's always scope for Taco to beat Madsen, but I think that basically that could be a good game for Madzin, just because of how consistent he's been at beating Taco in the past.
Well,
I think.
these guys, they always put on a good show. They always have great sets, but 9 times out of 10, Madsen's going to come out on top. Again, that's not a disrespect to Taco. He is a fantastic player, and I'm sure we could see him pull an upset. And considering Madsen is the winner of last week,
We've seen Taco do it before.
Madsen is the guy that ended Foxy's 7-week-long streak in ESL. Right? He is the one that did that. Taco is a fantastic player, but I think Madsen's going to be riding too much momentum. Like you said before, he has bested Taco numerous times in competitive settings, and Taco's going to know that. So I think Madsen's got less to lose than Taco here in terms of momentum for the rest of the Pro League. But
Taco needs to get a win to get some more points. Really, that's the thing.
There
might be pressure there.
If Taco beats Madsen, he could win this week, in my opinion. If he can beat Madsen, he can beat anyone in this top 8. So if Taco wins, he's going to become a serious contender for Season 2. But if he loses again, it's going to become even harder for him to make an impact this season.
Okay, so final game. And there's going to be the return of Zarakamaka.
And K-Top.
So this is going to be really interesting for me, because K-Top's back. And as you can see, K-Top had to beat Happy Pow, Hybrid Millionaire, and Hellbringer. So he had a respectable path, very respectable path. Zarakamaka took out Hands of God, Costas and Harris, and Wondersex.
That's the one I'm pointing out. Zarakamaka took out Costas and Harris, who is K-Top's brother.
The revenge.
Now, from a personal perspective, right, if I was a match away from top 8 in the Pro League, and that top 8 match, granted, it would have sucked for him because it would have been brother versus brother round 1 top 8, and that's always
better brother versus brother than brother versus person that stopped the brother from getting top 8.
That's what I mean.
You know what I mean?
If you made top 8, and then I made top 16 because the guy you've now got to fight in top 8 beat me, how much would you want to win that match?
That's the thing. K-Top. What worries me though is I believe K-Top he picked Predator, wasn't he?
He played Predator and then went to Raiden.
So we've seen Zarakamaka. I actually believe these guys have they fought before, or no? It was K-Top under Jim defeated him, didn't it?
It was under Jim beat K-Top before, and it was Salty McCuddy
that changed to Predator. Yeah. So the thing is, what the thing about this matchup is we've seen how rough that matchup seemingly can be for Predator. Liu Kang versus Predator.
No defense options.
There's literally 0 defense options. You get armor broke all day by Liu Kang, and if he opts to go for Flame Fist again, that's bad for Predator, I think, because he just you can't defend really, because bear in mind the downfall's punishable too. So Zarakamaka is the kind of player that will punish a downfall on block.
He
with something.
lives and dies by the frames, man. Does Zarakamaka? And
he believes in the heart of the frames.
He's picked the right character for it as well. I mean, he's getting less and less nervous as the weeks goes on.
He's getting better.
This is 3 weeks in a row he's made top 8. He is a train right now. He is a train, and his destination is Season 2 finals.
Zarakamaka and Foxy are hands down the 2 most consistent high placing players right now.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think.
Zarakamaka has been. Has he been in top 2 all for both weeks? Right, he got second place both weeks.
Yes, he's actually tying with Foxy in points.
Yeah,
but he's doing well for himself. So to go on this final matchup, I will be honest. I think I'm going to say Zarakamaka because he punishes really heavily. He plays Liu Kang, and I'm just going to go by Liu Kang versus Predator. And I don't think that matchup's good at all for Predator, personally. The way, even if the matchup is it's said to be even, it's the way Zarakamaka plays Liu Kang that will make him a bad matchup for Predator players, I think, in my opinion.
Well, I think Zarakamaka's kind of got that Foxy syndrome of you can be ready for the character,
but are you ready for that?
But are you ready for the player?
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's Liu Kang, and then there's Zarakamaka's Liu Kang.
It's a different beast, really. It really is. And that's across Flame Fist and Dragon's Fire. So,
but maybe K-Top could surprise us. If he goes Raiden, at the same time, a Vortex is a Vortex. K-Top is clearly a decent and competent player.
Well, he took out Hellbringer, Happy Pow. We saw Happy Pow before. In the Season 1, I believe we saw him.
Yeah. And
then we saw K-Top's done. K-Top's done well. He's been in the top 8 before.
Yeah, this is his second top 8 in 3 weeks. He's doing well for himself.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be week 3. As always, we can't really go on and say how we can't do an entire dream bracket because we never know what's going to happen. There could be upsets up the wazoo tomorrow. It could happen.
Hopefully there is, because that's always better. I mean, it's like we said before, guys. If you like these predictions videos, we are willing to go to do NA as well.
Yeah, we can start doing NA.
CIS, we can't really, because we do watch CIS, but they have a lot of players that we don't really recognise in a lot of weeks. And no, they're clearly fantastic players, but we wouldn't have anything to say about them. So we're going to try and keep these predictions strictly to EU and NA. If you guys like it, we'll try doing it for next week maybe and see how it goes, see what you guys think. But for now, this is it for week 3. Tune in to twitch.tv/NetherRealm tomorrow afternoon at 8:30 Polish time, which is 7:30 GMT, and you guys can
I'm not sure about the rest of it.
7:30 GMT, guys. That's what you want. That's the time.
All right, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and sub. Let us know what you think about this bracket. How do you think it's going to go? We'll see you next time, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.